quick blast with the drums. Because my vision for this track was to have this huge, big synth thing going on. Some sounds in the distance, some sounds more up close. The treatment of each of these synth sounds and piano and keyboard sounds is different. Some of them have got the reverb on to create that distant wall of ambient stuff, and then other ones have got completely dry with the cassette effect on there. So dry and almost a bit crusty and small. When you put those in contrast to the bigger reverb sound, it just gets so much depth to it. So in this section of this track I'm working on, a very synth heavy track, it's a remix that I'm doing. So I've utilised some combinations of synths and things that I've never done before. This is another example of me explaining sort of layering sounds, really. I love layering sounds. Whenever I'm given permission to by an artist, or if it's something I'm working on for myself, I always get really stuck into layering sounds. This is where there's a lot of fun to be had. And the remix in question had a piano part, which I've put some delay on and filtered. It's a nice, that gives you that organic, real instrument feel. And I've actually utilised this synthesizer called Surge XT, which is completely free. There it is. It's quite fiddly looking, but it's got loads. It's very powerful. And if you can use the presets, which I often do, and then all of the parameters you need to tweak are all on the front there. It's like an organ kind of sound. And to make that organ sound old and crusty, which I love doing, a bit more analog sounding. Oh god, that cassette plugin's not really loaded properly. Let's try that again. I like giving sounds a little bit of movement, a little bit of wobbliness, and make them feel like they've been run through cassettes and tapes and things like that. And that's what I've done here. So this is the cassette plugin by Waves Factory, and love it. Use it all the time. Just to add texture. If it's one sound layered in many other sounds, if everything's static, you can kind of start to feel a little bit uninteresting and lack movement. So if you add elements of randomness, which this tape plugin's doing, kind of adding a little bit of phasing, a little bit of wobbliness to it, when that layer is in there with all the other sounds, it's got differentiating factors to it, which means it creates movement and space. Second layer of this plugin I'm using, which is the Surge XT. It was started off as a preset called Liched, and I've done some tweaking on it. A much thinner sound with a little portamento on it, going through a really wobbly cassette preset, and then I'm panning it. There's a plugin called Pan Flow, which allows you to dial in these custom panning parameters, you see, like that. So it's got a nice melody in there. Add that to the organ. And suddenly these two sounds, one higher, one mid-range, have got lots of movement. Put that with the piano. I should add that these are all in a group, and the group's got a side chain compression on, so you can hear a bit of ducking. I used a amazing synth by Softtube on this one, Statement Lead, just because it's got this really cool sequencer built into it that you can program in a rhythmic sequence. This is it on its own. That rhythm is a sequencer, a filtered sequencer. And then layer that with what we've already heard, the piano and the organ, and then the weird sort of portamento sound. And the piano and the synth together. They feel like they're one sound, or they're linked together because they're both got a rhythm to them. It's really loving how they're building up to create that bigness. Finally, I've got another keyboard sound here. This originated as a Surge XT sound as well. Did some tweaking on this sound. Lots of airiness. I've added reverb and things to this. So you get the air and this sort of quite crystally sound. And all of these parts have kind of got a droning note, and then they've got this like various melodies that are in the mix too. So because I used the original piano part as the source, I turned the audio to MIDI to create these MIDI parts. I didn't play this MIDI in or program it in. I used the audio from the piano, converted it to MIDI, and then adjusted it and put these synths. Use that MIDI to play these synths. I didn't have to learn the chords. Save loads of time. Just hearing all those together, it's pretty epic. I could put the bass on it. Quick blast with the drums. Because my vision for this track was to have this huge, big synth thing going on. Some sounds in the distance, some sounds more up close. The treatment of each of these synth sounds and piano and keyboard sounds is different. Some of them have got the reverb on to create that distant wall of ambient stuff, and then other ones have got completely dry with the cassette effect on there, so dry and almost a bit crusty and small. When you put those in contrast to the bigger reverb sound, it just gets so much depth to it.